I'm a weird guy, and I like weird things, like this game. Buggy, or Team Lossy RC Racer as it's called in the US, is a surprising mix of quirky, clunky design and innovative elements. Team Lossy are a real-world RC car manufacturer known for their race-level quality out of the box. Hilariously, the RC cars in this game look nothing like the real thing. Heck, they don't even look like the buggy on the game's cover art. You race your little RC beast through a series of fantastical tracks and get power-ups by driving through a combination of coloured gates. This is the first of the game's surprisingly good innovations. You can use the gates to get easy power-ups that give your car better grip or a slight boost, but the tracks are designed to encourage experimentation. If you get the right combination at the right time, you can use the power-up to access otherwise off-limit parts of the track. Which brings me to the next cool thing about Buggy. Some of the off-limit areas are actually gateways to entirely different levels that will sometimes issue a challenge like racing a snail or solving a puzzle. Having cars actually hidden in these secret areas is an old-school racing game trend I wish never left. Overall, it's weird, totally unrelated to RC cars, and I love every bit of it. Obviously, the game isn't perfect by any means. The frame rate is awful, and I still don't know what some of the power-ups even do. Graphically, the game is very basic, even for a PS1 title, and the controls are pretty darn hit and miss. Although, I will give it props for using the right-hand joystick to accelerate and brake, just like a real RC controller. Despite the negatives, I continued playing Buggy for hours after I captured this footage. Solving the quirky, power-up focused challenges in each level was just too much fun to stop. So naturally, I recommend picking this game up. 7.5 out of 10. The PlayStation had its fair share of races, some of which are still going to this day. But with approximately 4,000 games released for the system, a lot of them are bound to be missed, like Buggy. So in this video, we're going to explore some more of them, and I've left the best and worst for last. If you were to combine Gundam and Wipeout 2047, you'd get Future Racer, released late in the PS1's life cycle. So late, in fact, most gamers were already experiencing pure bliss with the PlayStation 2. It's crazy that, despite the clearly Japanese influence on the design and art style, this game was a European-only release. Published by Midas Interactive, who had built a relentless reputation for budget releases, Future Racer was an ambitious concept. You choose from a variety of wacky characters who each command some variation of Gundam-style mech. You take part in qualifying, and if you get the best time, you start the main event with extra points for an advantage. That's right, you're not racing, but rather battling for points. If you've ever seen Alita Battle Angel, there's a scene where Alita takes part in kind of a violent roller derby where she competes for a ball while trying to survive. It's wild how close this game is to that. You get the ball and try to hold it for as long as possible. If you hold it for an entire section, you gain a large chunk of points. Stupidly, I skipped the tutorial and it took me a long time to figure this out. Attacking your competitors while they have the ball gives you points and a shot at getting the ball off them. Attack your competitors while they don't have the ball and you lose points. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised by this concept. It's wildly innovative and radiates potential. Unfortunately, Future Racer is relentlessly clunky. While it's not too hard to get the hang of, the tracks are poorly designed and frustrating at times. You'll get some fun out of it for a little bit, but overall, it's incredibly mid. 5 out of 10.
Bean, you're starting to pee right now. Let's walk to the potty.
Oops, I peed on the floor.
Ever wondered what this creature would look like if you took it, steamrolled it flat, and dropped it into an airboat racing game? Well, this is what you get. Seriously, I don't know where to start here. Everything about XS airboat racing feels like milk toast. Everything is gentle and soft and slow and quiet. Come on, I need something to happen. Why is everything so tiny and lifeless in this game? In XS Airboat Racing, you choose from one of 8 things and play your way through a series of tournaments based on increasing bra sizes. You putt around in your little airboat, getting little power-ups, and slowly but surely get ever closer to impending death. You can unlock 2 new kids show puppets from hell and finish the game in a few hours. Hilariously, XS Airboat Racing was released in 2003. That's right, this was released the same year as Need for Speed Underground. With a near endless supply of better racing games out there, you can skip this one. 3 out of 10. And remember, there's a game worse than this coming up soon, but before I get to it, let's take a look at a game that had some great promise.
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
Back to the Future Part 2 fans probably saw Marty McFly snap the handle off that little girl's hoverboard and thought, hey, I want to do that, but in a neo-punk industrial setting. If that was you, well, you'll definitely like Streak hoverboard racing. You play as one of 12 hilariously named riders who have varying stats and looks. Incredibly, this game has some surprisingly solid voice acting. After a quick tutorial, you get a good taste of the handling model that is brutally hard to get a hold of. You do tricks to increase your confidence and, as a result, your top speed. Wiping out drops your confidence and you go slower. The level design is great, with a wide variety of themes and aesthetics between them. They are memorable and somehow good enough for me to want to go back and master them. In fact, I kept playing this game for a while after capturing this footage, which is a great sign. That is, until the cracks start to show, and they're pretty big. The controls, as much as I felt were possible to master, are a brutal learning curve. Even after hours of playing, I was still getting frustrated because I hit a jump wrong or overshot a corner and wiped out. The biggest punch to the gut is the straight up bizarre progression in the game. You'll play through 3 tracks and then you'll go back to the first and do another race but with slightly faster opponents. But this time you'll do 4 races. Then you'll go back to the first track again, face even harder opponents, and continue doing the same process. At this stage, I didn't know when this was going to end and I just turned the game off.
What in the name of Sir Isaac H. Newton happened here?
I could have been a hair away from finishing the career for my rider, but I had no idea if I was. It felt like this loop was going to go on forever. I have to give the game credit where it's due though. You could absolutely modernise this concept and have a banging hoverboard racer on your hands. Still, if you find yourself near a copy, I think you should pick it up. It's a pretty solid racer with a brutal but magnetic gameplay style. 7 out of 10. Speaking of brutal, let's get to that game I mentioned earlier. I can't say Kart Racer is a bad game because I'm not sure if it even qualifies as one. Another release from Midas, the budget game Kings, Kart Racer is as basic as a game can get. You have one game mode, single race. You choose the track, practice, then race. Congratulations, you've completed the game. And if you get bored of the one race mode this game offers, why not check out the options menu? I'm sure you'll have a blast adjusting the sound levels or something. The only potential scent of redeeming quality Kart Racer has is in the reasonably tolerable controls. It uses the right joystick for acceleration and brake like Buggy, and I was soon obliterating the AI. If there was ever a game the store should be paying you to take, it's this. Congratulations Kart Racer, I'm giving you the coveted Unworthy Award. If you see this game, report it to local authorities and seek psychological help if you feel the urge to play it. 1 out of 10. Now, let's cleanse our eyes with the next and final game you've likely never heard of, which is an absolute gem of a title. You can't tell right now because I had to change the music to avoid copyright, but this game has one of the best jazz soundtracks, period. I love Racing Lagoon, the first car PG I've ever come across. This is a Japan-only release that thankfully has a fantastic fan translation. Square blended elements of Final Fantasy and JDM car culture in this game and it works really well. You play as Sho, who gets sucked into the street racing culture of Yokohama, Japan. It's a storyline filled with overly charismatic characters, rivalries, and legendary races you barely get a chance to see because they are just so fast. The handling takes a fair bit to get used to, but once you're in the open world, you get a chance to hone your skills against random racers. These guys chase you down and you have no choice but to face off with them. This is kind of like the random battle encounters of games like Final Fantasy, and this is where the game gets so good. If you win the race, you get to take a part off your opponent's car. So after a little while, I had won a new paint job, body kit, and wheels. I also want a better CPU and an exhaust system. The catch with this is if you lose, and trust me, you will, they have the chance to take something of yours. Every time you complete a race, you gain a point for each part category for your car. If you meet a certain quantity, you unlock a new slot in each category, allowing you to add more parts and improve the performance of your car. I didn't even realize until after I captured this footage that you can take the body and chassis of their car to unlock it for yourself. I'm not gonna lie, I was meant to go to another part of the city to save Show's friend from a rival racing group, but I just spent hours racing randoms in this part of town because I just had to get all the parts I could. Now, there are no licensed cars in Racing Lagoon, but the inspiration for each model is apparent. You start with a Toyota AE86 inspired vehicle that is simply known by a code with 86 in it. The lack of licensed cars doesn't bother me though. As I said, I love this game. It's perfect jazz soundtrack, it's Yokohama inspired world, and its beautiful mix of racing and RPG elements that would still work well in a modern remake. Racing Lagoon, you get the Pixel Station seal of approval. 9 out of 10. Join me next time as we explore some of the PS2's most bizarre, obscure, and outright forgotten fighting games, and who knows, maybe we'll find another gem just like Racing Lagoon.